Hey, this is Cameron. Welcome back to the Busy Gardener channel. Today I'm joined with Tommy and Lisa of the Homegrown Farmstead, and we're going to look at their raised bed gardens. Let's get busy. All right, so Tommy and Lisa, you guys have an Instagram account where it's called the Homegrown Farmstead, and you guys, a lot of it features the stuff you do inside your house, which is just gorgeous. Was that kind of considered, what is it, like farmhouse chic? Is that, or how would you describe the style?
Yeah, I guess like farmhouse, and I started documenting it when we did our addition, and just the ideas I had. People were like, you should post it, you should, create an Instagram so that people can see what you do, and then it just kind of continued from there. Then I kind of film in here or post, do posts in our garden, and everyone wanted to know about what we planted and how to take care of it, and then that's when I would ask the expert here, and so yeah.
And so Tommy was sharing that you've had a real passion for organic gardening, and before you even got into fruit trees, which we're going to do in another video, you've done some stuff here in your raised beds. So why don't you talk us through, before we go and look at it, a little bit of kind of what inspired you to get started in something like this?
Well, I'm from a line of farmers back east on my mom's side, so always kind of had an affinity for growing things and plants and anything to feed the family, and growing unique varieties and interesting varieties that you just can't find in the store. And I decided to go ahead and build these raised beds. So, I've got these two raised beds. They're 4 foot by 16 foot.
And how tall are they?
I'd say they're probably at about almost 20 inches tall.
Mm-hmm.
They are sunk down a little bit because of the wood chip mulch out here. But yeah, we grow a variety of vegetables in here, and then the citrus that I have in the middle too, to provide some shade if anything needs shade during the hot summer months.
Well, this is winter, and so this is one of the benefits of living in Southern California. Is you can kind of grow stuff whenever you want.
It's not really winter.
Yeah, winter. Oh, it's winter. I see. Later today we're going to all be wearing T-shirts. So we're going to maybe back up this way, and we'll start at this end.
Sure.
And we can maybe just kind of work our way through and just point out some of the things that are growing well for you in here.
Absolutely.
All right, Tommy, so what have we got going on in here?
All right, Cameron. We got a few things going on in here. A lot from the brassica family, which do really well in the winter here in Southern California. So, I've got some kales and some broccolis. We've got some cauliflower over here. Some things are still sleeping, like I was pointing out. I have some. That's a rhizome right there for rhubarb. So that's going to pop up in the spring. So it's kind of fun. There are some hidden things in here that will shoot their way up when it gets a little bit warmer out. But, winter vegetable gardening can be rewarding also, just like summertime can. You just have to plant the right things. So.
And I noticed you've got a citrus tree right here.
Yes.
Right in the middle of it, which is interesting because this is also a winter
That's right.
producing plant. So what,
this is
talk us through
Sure.
kind of like what we're doing here.
So this is a Dancy tangerine that I planted here because I found that lately when you buy the store-bought ones, they don't have some of the flavor that you would really like.
Yeah.
So I figured, well, we could grow our own and put them in the kids' lunch boxes for school. So it's working out well. I'm still testing them here. We're probably another week away right now since we're in the middle of January.
Yeah, they're getting
now.
close.
Well, we're getting close.
How do you avoid just picking them off too early? Getting a tart
Since
mouthful.
this was the first year it really produced, I only got about 25 this year. So, testing one about a week. Hopefully we'll still have a dozen on there by the time they're ready. But yeah, just check one here and there and just see if it's ready. So.
Now, how do you handle watering for your raised beds?
So watering for my raised beds, I do hose water. I do an inline filter to kind of pull out some of the chlorine. And something that has really helped this year was putting a wood chip mulch on top. It's really helped conserve the moisture. It helped last summer. This area over here, it bakes over here. It gets so hot. The reflection off the house, it shoots the heat right back to the bed, and that has really, really helped out this year. And
keeping all the plants comfortable.
Keeping them very comfortable. It's almost like a blanket, if you will. So it keeps them all comfy and keeps the roots happy. And the worms are happy, and the worms are here. So
We want
I'm excited
worms.
about that. That's right.
Isn't it funny the stuff you get happy about once you start gardening?
So-
Bees used to be scared of it. Go, no, come on, bees, worms. Oh, no, come
Oh,
on,
yeah.
worms.
Yes.
He'll walk in the house and he'll just be like, "Oh, there's so many worms in there." You're like, I'm just like, okay.
It's like some people
All
get
right.
excited about other things. Yeah.
All right, Dad.
Oh, let's kind of continue on
Sure.
down this way. But
You know, some interesting things that happened, you know, after summertime into the fall was I had some random tomato plants that started sprouting up in here. So I just decided, well, you know what? I'm just going to let them go and see what happens and see if I can grow them through the winter. And so far, I don't know if it's just the location, but it's been working out. I'm not quite sure what variety they are, but we do have some in here. So it's
yeah, I
a
noticed
cherry
all the,
variety.
All
of
the
some
flowers,
sorts.
you've got them flowering again in the middle of winter
You
or
know,
whatever.
So we're going to keep figuring it out. But, you know, we've got to have some cilantro, which is starting to go to flower right now. And I would suggest that anybody that has any type of vegetable garden to allow some things to go to flower. There's some beneficials that will come in, and they're going to help out with any type of pests, aphids, things like that, if you allow them to go to flower. It's really, really important. Yeah, let it go. And you never know. You might get some seeds, and you might try it again and see if it goes again. So a lot of the vegetables in here, I do try to grow from seed as much as possible. So.
Well, it cuts down on costs and it kind of gets you even that much more acquainted with the whole process.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So.
Do you guys save any seeds?
We do save seeds.
Oh, neat.
Yes, and Lisa helped me this year, so we saved some special Dutch heirloom green beans that were excellent this year. So we saved some of those, and this cilantro is from our last year's cilantro. So these seeds were coriander seeds that we replanted, and they regrew again. So we do save seeds, absolutely. Yeah, it's important that you should try to do that too. So seed saving.
I noticed that you've got this this trellis here, and I remember seeing in one of the on your Instagram account the lines coming down.
Yeah, the tomahawk.
The tomahawk, yeah.
Tomahawk.
So I string and sucker our tomatoes so that I can grow the height in this bed, which allows me, it frees up space for other things to grow too. So, you know, I grow vertically.
Yeah.
And that really helps. It saves the space in here that I can plant things, you know, that are harmonious with those plants and they get along, and it makes a beautiful green wall.
Yeah.
And it's easier to pick them too. So
You
don't
can
have to
see
hunt
them all.
around.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right now it's like a little Easter egg hunt
Yeah,
almost going
exactly.
through here. That's awesome.
So,
And so now you've got two beds, and so let's maybe move on to this bed and show us what's going on.
Come on, Kona.
Okay, so Tommy, I noticed that we've got a few things going on here.
We do.
I see you've got some peppers that are
Yes.
growing there. You've got some peppers. And is this, what do we have here? Is this kale here?
this right here is going to be a purple sprouting broccoli.
Broccoli, okay.
Yeah, and I noticed that recently the leaves started to come up and make that cone shape, which means that it's going to be getting ready here to flower pretty soon, which is our broccoli sprouts that we're going to be picking off of there. Really excited about that. This year will be my first year with the purple broccoli. I have grown, you know, Waltham and some of the other varieties, green varieties, but I decided this year to kind of focus on the things that had a little more color in them, the purple colors, especially a little bit healthier for you maybe with the anthocyanins and all that. The kids love helping me plant anything from seed that's larger and easier to plant. The kids help me plant those. So obviously peas grow great in the wintertime here in
Yeah.
California. So.
Gorgeous peas. Look at, you got flowering, but you also have some peas that have already just probably a week or so from
Absolutely.
getting
They're
picked.
getting close. And you can eat them right now. Even
Yeah.
if they're thin, they're great, you know, or you can shell them. So snap peas or you can shell them. So that's awesome. But yeah, so the kids helped out with that. So we're excited about
I want to
that.
emphasize some of this, again, that vertical space. I know you were doing it with your tomatoes over
Yes.
there and doing that here. This method of having, especially if you're not doing row gardening, gives you a ton of extra usable space because otherwise these peas would be all over the rest of your bed.
That's right. That's
And
right.
so being able to do that, you're able to do a tall variety, which gives you a ton of still usable space. You're not having to make as many trade-offs because you're really able to use just the edge of your bed there.
Absolutely. So, you know, gardening year round, you know, there's things that are needed to be planted at certain times of the year. It leaves me some space to go ahead and start plugging in those other plants that, you know, are going to appreciate not the quite summer weather, maybe more of the spring weather to get started.
Yeah.
So it does leave me some space for that. But yeah, as far as like things like pepper plants growing right now, those came up on their own from seed, and I just decided to just let them go. And, you know, it's worked out. And there's a couple other ones growing around here around the property, too, which I just decided, okay, we'll let those grow.
Yeah.
It's not the season, but let's see if it happens. And you know what? It's happening.
It's doing
quite
great.
interesting. So I'm letting it
and
go
when you're
with
eating it, it's not gonna.
it
You're not
doesn't
gonna be
matter.
thinking twice
if
about
it's
it.
smaller, that's okay.
Yeah.
We'll be fine with that, you know. So
Yeah, I was intrigued over in this corner. You've got your you have a compost bin.
I do have a
Bring it over.
compost
Let's
bin
take a
over
look at
here.
this thing.
Yeah, come on over here. You can see this. So with the chickens, we obviously, they're bedding. You know, when it becomes cleaned out, I go ahead and I bring it over here. And, any of the gardening clippings that I'm not going to be using, I also put them in here. And this is a cold compost bin, so basically I just stack it up in layers. Once in a while I'll come in and I'll poke at it, but I mainly let nature take its course in here. And the result is great. I use it in my garden, and this is what we get right here.
That's incredible.
And it smells fresh and great.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, this is great. This was I repurposed this. This was from a friend of mine, and I had done some irrigation work for her, and she said, "Hey, can you haul that ugly thing out of my yard?" And I said, "Yes, I have the perfect spot for that." So,
yeah, she sees it. So what did they say? One man's junk is another man's
That's
treasure.
right.
Is another man's
That's right.
compost bin.
Yeah, and this is like a no fuss, no work type of system right here. I just let it do its thing. In the summertime, once in a while, if I notice that it's a little dry, I may give it a little bit of water.
Yeah.
But you know, it makes its own little protective covering, and then once in a while I'll turn it. But yeah, this is low maintenance, and it's something that gives back. So instead of using my green barrel and throwing everything into my green barrel, the things that I can put in here I do. So yeah.
Yeah, that's
it's
very
gonna
cool.
go back into the soil. So
This gives me some inspiration because I don't have a compost pile or bin or anything right now. It's like we're having to go out and buy it, but then I see this awesome setup here. I mean, you've got, I don't even know how many bags this would translate into, but it's just...
I mean, I would say on a rough estimate, I'm probably somewhere around a half yard. So, you know, that would be the equivalent of maybe like at a half cubic foot bag. I mean, that'd be almost 30 of those maybe.
Yeah.
So that's a lot
incredible.
down here. So,
Get
you know,
that
the
back in
bottom
your
2
garden.
feet, just beautiful, dark, you know, moist and rich compost ready to go back into the garden. Hey, Cameron, I wanted to talk to you about this right here. What this is this is a water catchment for our AC unit. It catches all the condensated water, which is going to be a pure form of water.
Yeah.
And I use this if I'm going to do any type of, if I'm going to use like an organic liquid fertilizer. Everything here is organic, so no type of, you know, chemical pesticides or fertilizers. And this is great. So I don't know, this is somewhere maybe 40 gallons or a little bit more. And then if my hands are dirty, because let's say I was playing in the compost bin, then I could just come over here, you know. And
Oh, that's so cool.
So,
Let's just be clear that, you know, again, you're in Southern California. The fact that this
it's
has...
not frozen.
Yeah, and that it means you've been running it.
Right.
That's a kind of a good point.
Yeah, so this
That's
is
such a
something
great idea.
right here,
I mean, this is
so-
like kind of a rain catch,
It is.
and so you're using it to catch a condensation. What a cool idea.
Yeah. Yeah, and there are certain
Take this
rules,
to the bank. This
you
is a
know,
good idea.
There are certain rules on water catchment systems and things like that if you're catching rainwater off of gutters, but this doesn't qualify because this is AC unit condensated
Yeah.
water, so that's how we're doing that.
That's very cool. Well, I hope you've enjoyed tuning into this episode of The Busy Gardener, where we've looked at the awesome job you guys have done with these beds. And it's interesting, organic, and yet it looks so amazing. You don't see any of the, you know, issues that you see at a lot of other things. You've done a really good job, and it seems like everything's working harmoniously here.
Absolutely.
What questions do you have for Tommy and some of the things that you've seen here? Some things that you think maybe you've spotted some things you think, hey, why don't you try planting this in your garden? Plug those into the comments. If you haven't subscribed, should they subscribe
Absolutely.
right now?
Yes.
That'd be a good idea. Do that. Hit the notification bell too, so you get more videos like this. And hey, whether you've got 1 plant in your garden or 500, until next time, stay busy.
Thanks.